What position would be ideal for the Buffalo Bills to select with their first overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft? We hear a lot of Bills fans, a lot of talk right now is offensive guard and offensive wide receiver. And I think the Buffalo Bills, looking back to last year, you could definitely see our offense really didn't hold up their end of the spectrum. Things really started to fall off. But is it at fault of our players? Is it at fault of the talent on this team? Or is it at fault of our offensive coordinator, first-time offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey, a new evolving offense with Aaron Cromer and this offensive line, James Cook, a rookie running back? There was a lot of things that happened last year that the Buffalo Bills should take into account. And instead of jumping to the conclusion that we need a guard or another wide receiver, Buffalo Bills may be better off looking elsewhere with the first overall pick. And yes, I do want to talk about offensive guard really quick before I reveal which position I think would be ideal for the Buffalo Bills. And also in a later video coming tomorrow, I'm going to reveal my number one draft prospect for Bills Mafia. But right now, the offensive guard position with Roger Saffold, Ryan Bates, and also we have a problem here with David Quessenberry and Ike Bucker both being free agents. Now, again, I believe in the philosophy behind Ken Dorsey being a first-time offensive coordinator. I think we really struggled and really didn't know what to do in certain situations, especially when you couple that with evolving this offense. I don't necessarily know if we're going to get a better draft prospect in the first round at 27th overall than Ryan Bates. And then you could look at guys like David Quessenberry and Ike Bucker, who we can get here on great deals. And to be honest, I know people are saying guard in this year's NFL draft. And to be honest, I think the big deficiency here for the Bills was actually right tackle Spencer Brown. Spencer Brown was a liability for Bills Mafia this past season. I really saw Spencer Brown get beat an awful lot, and I was wondering, why aren't we starting David Quessenberry? But it would have hindered Spencer Brown's development as a player. So Spencer Brown definitely needs to step up. If anything, we need to solidify that right tackle position opposite of Deion Dawkins. And yes, Roger Saffold getting up in age, he could very well retire. It's tough. So guard is definitely a position, but is it the most ideal position for the Buffalo Bills, 27th overall? I know Brandon Beane does like selecting best available player, but we are discussing which position would be ideal for the Bills. And then people discussing wide receiver. Now, wide receiver, we would bring in a rookie wide receiver to most likely compete with Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis definitely had an off year. It was the first time Gabe Davis was forced to be a number one starter, getting all the reps opposite of Stephon Diggs. He had a lot of adjusting to this season. Plus, you couple that with Ken Dorsey, right? Ken Dorsey, first-time offensive coordinator. I think Gabe Davis could definitely improve on his own, having a full offseason, knowing exactly what to fully expect. I think Gabe Davis is going to be the best version of himself going forward. And I don't know if we're going to find a wide receiver at 27th overall that's going to beat out Gabe Davis. Going to be tough. So leading on to why I believe the Buffalo Bills ultimately struggled last year, and it's because of injuries, but also because we're not getting the most of our players. We're not getting the most of Von Miller, who we're paying so much money to. We're not getting the most out of Ed Oliver, Tremaine Edmonds, even Matt Milano. And this entire defense, I feel like we are still not capitalizing on the potential of what's possible for this defense. There's no reason why Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes and these teams could even score a point on us. And I believe it. I've been saying this in my previous videos. The most important thing that has been missing for the Buffalo Bills is a player opposite to Ed Oliver, right? We had Star Lotulelei here, and then when Star opted out, we had Harrison Phillips, and then Star came back. And then this past year, we had Daquan Jones try to be that player. Jordan Phillips try to be that player. But we need to upgrade that position. If we can upgrade or find a better player at that D tackle spot opposite of Ed Oliver, and I really think it's going to bring out the best the best of Ed Oliver. It's going to bring out the best of Greg Rousseau, all these defensive end on this team, Boogie Basham, AJ Epinesa, Von Miller. It's going to allow Matt Milano, Terrell Bernard. If we bring back Tremaine Edmonds, it's going to allow these guys to run around freely. I believe there's going to be a defensive tackle sitting at 27 for the Buffalo Bills that is just going to be a flawless fit. And that is an element that we saw in this past Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes, right, and Jalen Hurts. Those defenses and teams winning in the trenches, winning up front, getting low, penetrating. We really have not had a player like that in a long time, especially in the interior. And that's the problem with Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver is only as good as the player that's next to him, because teams, offenses can scheme against Ed Oliver. You know, if you want to double team Ed Oliver, especially in long situations, right, and where Ed Oliver is definitely going to be pass rushing, you're going to leave that other defensive end one-on-one, right? And we need production out of that defensive end badly. And if we can get consistent pressure, if we can make teams decide to potentially double team that player or leave Ed Oliver one-on-one, it's going to really open up things for this defensive line. We even heard it from Von Miller last year. You know, they just need to do their thing. You know, they just need to step up and really do their thing. The other players, right? Von Miller's there. Von Miller getting chipped, getting double teamed, getting the attention. It's up to the other players on this defensive line to completely ball out for Bills Mafia. And then just to summarize too, some of the other players and positions on this team, cornerback, I think we're pretty much set. We have a great cornerback, right? Trey White. We got Christian Benford, Kyer Elam, you know, Taron Johnson there in the slot. We're doing some big time things. Ciaran Neal is still there for the Bills. Big time question marks. I discussed it in my previous videos. Is Jordan Poyer? What is going to happen with Jordan Poyer in this cap situation? I think Brandon Beane can very well go on a base salary restructuring rampage for the Buffalo Bills. It's going to be very interesting. So let me know in the comment section below. I want to definitely hear from you. What position do you think is ideal for the Buffalo Bills to select with the first overall pick? Lots are saying guard, but some other people are saying wide receiver. Do you really think we're going to find a better guard or wide receiver than the ones that are currently on this roster? And then what about my perspective in the defensive tackle? Do you think maybe it'd be wise to bring in another defensive tackle to double down on this defensive line that we've allocated so much money to with Von Miller and all these high draft picks? It's time to get another threat in the interior of this defensive line to pair with Ed Oliver. I'm telling you guys. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. Hit like and subscribe. I will check you guys soon. Go Bills. Peace.